In 1958, the Green Bay Packers were the worst team in the NFL. Their quarterback was a shy, courteous young man named Brian Bartlett Starr, who seemed to be living proof of the old adage, nice guys finish last.
We beat Green Bay 40-0. And then Bart just had a miserable game, and the fans were booing him in Green Bay, if you can imagine that. And after losing 40-0, instead of ducking his head and running for the tunnel, Bart came over and congratulated us. Great guy.
In 1959, the Packers hired coach Vince Lombardi, a determined winner who had no patience for gracious losers.
Well, I think that Coach Lombardi probably felt that I wasn't strong enough to be the leader that he was looking for. He was volatile, explosive, impulsive, loud, abrasive, nasty, if you will, and I wasn't. Probably I gave the impression to him that I wasn't as strong a leader maybe as he had hoped for. But what he didn't know was what was underneath. I really think that performance always speaks much louder than words.
In 1960, Starr's steady performance earned him the starting role, and the underdog Packers fought their way to the top of the Western Conference. While running backs Jim Taylor, number 31, and Paul Hornung became national heroes, the quarterback who gave them the ball was ignored and often blamed for the team's failures.
Football is that we're playing out here today. Oh, God. Oh, get him out of there, will you?
Belittled by his coach and bullied by his opponents, Starr's faith and courage were constantly tested. He stood up to the punishment and abuse with a quiet defiance, and even Lombardi soon learned that Starr's gentle nature gave no hint of the fire that glowed within.
A lot of people mistake kindness for weakness, and Bart Starr stood up to Lombardi every time he should have.
I told him, I said, look, Coach, I said, I can take all of the chewing you want to dish out. And I said, I understand your personality, and that's all well and good. And I said, that doesn't bother me. I said, but what does bother me is the fact that you're telling the team one thing, that you're expecting certain things of your leaders, of your quarterbacks, and you expect me to go out there and lead them. And I said, I can't do that if you're going to chew me out in front of them. I said, now, if I've got a chewing out coming, fine, but do it in the privacy of this office where you apologize to me when you know you're wrong. I said, otherwise, don't ever expect me to go out there and be your leader. And he never, ever raised his voice to me again.
The competitive fires in Bart Starr were well banked and deeply hidden, but Lombardi fanned them to a blaze, and Starr changed from a man who used to lean on his team to one who could lead it. Starr was a player that Lombardi never thought would make it, but few coaches ever got more out of a player than Lombardi got out of Starr.
Starr always seemed to me to be an extension of Lombardi on the field. Bart was, I think, the perfect coach's quarterback in a sense that if Lombardi said, here are the 6,000 things I want you to do, Bart would go out and do probably almost all of those 6,000 things. And he always played the percentages. Smart percentage player, not a gambler. In other words, if he had a back who was covering a receiver tight, the ball was always low. Bart knew that there was a chance that the ball wouldn't be caught, but no chance that it would be intercepted if it was thrown that way.
Bart Starr is probably one of the purest gentlemen you'll ever want to meet. But on the football field, he'll cut your heart out and show it to you. He probably completed more fourth down and one passes than anybody in pro football. People don't remember him as that, but I have, because I was on the sidelines and listened to the discussion, and Coach Lombardi would say, what's he going to call? Is he going to run it on fourth and one? I said, Coach, you can bet he's going to throw it.
I think the quality of a great leader, of a great quarterback, is being able to deliver when you have to. Anybody can play when there's really nothing at stake. regardless of the game, regardless of the situation. But I really think the measure of the player is how well he plays under pressure when you have to win.
Above all, Bart Starr was the consummate pressure player, and he proved it by winning 5 championship games, more than any quarterback in history. In 1966, Lombardi's Packers won their 2nd straight NFL championship game and 4th league title when Starr threw 4 touchdown passes to defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Later, in the first Super Bowl, the Packers defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. Starr was named the most valuable player, and the coach who once doubted him had by now become his biggest fan, and together they went on to make pro football history. In the 1967 championship game, a small step for Bart Starr was a giant leap for the Green Bay Packers, who became the first and only team in NFL history to win 3 consecutive championship games. In the 2nd Super Bowl, the Packers crushed the Raiders 33-14, and Starr was again named the game's most valuable player. Unlike most of the great quarterbacks, Bart Starr was made, not born, and the lessons of his life seem clear.
One of my favorite quotes is from William Jennings Bryan, and I think it sums up how I feel about my career and what I was able to accomplish when he said that destiny is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. It is not something to be wished for, it is something to be attained.